Cap à présent sur notre deuxième sujet de
On our second lead of the morning. Last Saturday, the world of Senegalese and African sport in general was moved by images of chaos and violence between supporters during a final match of the local league of the stadium Demba Diop in Dakar, the capital. Jostling and collapse of a part of the stadium, according to several witnesses, say the incident was caused by stone throwing from the Wakem team on the opponents Mbo, who had just scored a second goal.
8 people lost their lives and more than 50 others were left wounded. Authorities in the country quickly reacted to the event, and an outraged President Macky Sall said that a judicial inquiry will be opened to look into the deadly stampede and that all the complicit officials will be held accountable for the tragedy. Following the tragedy, all sports and cultural events have been suspended until elections are held at the end of the month. Senegal is gearing up for parliamentary elections slated for July 30th, and campaigns which had been suspended on Sunday out of respect for the victims resumed yesterday on Monday. What better way to understand this than to engage with our sports journalist Wahani Johnson Sambu, who is also anchor of Football Planet here on Africanews. Good morning, Johnson, and thanks for joining us. Senegal has just experienced a tragedy following violence between rival football supporters, and to you this seems like a déjà vu scenario. In an article you published about 6 years ago, you already sound the alarm in what you described as the increase of hooliganism of an unusual violence. Please tell us more about this.
Well, yes. Actually, as you said, it's been 6 years since 2011, and I remember very well I had sounded the alarm on the violence that plagues Senegalese sport. I wrote about it. When we talked about organizing a professional championship, we were supposed to change the mentality of the sport, but unfortunately the violence has persisted. In my former article, I called the attention of the public authorities, whether it is on the part of the state leaders or the federation, to take the necessary measures so that this violence can go away from football. Sport does not deserve this. With the hindsight, it was barbaric. Unfortunately, nothing has been done so far, and the misfortune of Senegalese football is that there is too much complacency in this environment. This is what has led us to this tragic event that happened.
And Wahani, the local press reported on President Macky Sall's reaction on Monday of him wanting immediate investigations to be launched, and even of the sports minister who said the officials in charge would be severely punished. Have there been cases of prosecution whereby the hooligans were punished and the responsibilities clearly established?
Well, if it was necessary that this kind of reaction should be taken, but it came a little bit late. It is to play the doctors after death, because everyone had seen what was going to happen. But there has been drama for the voices, or rather there has been a lot of politicking around up to the highest level of the state to demand sanctions and strong measures to avoid this kind of catastrophe. You know that Senegal is a country where when something happens, everybody comes together to denounce it. But after 2 weeks, we just come and forget. Remember that in 2002, with the sinking of the Diola boat, there were measures, and up to now they've not been taken. But after 2 months, this is something like it as if it never happened. People started again with their bad habits, and today with Senegalese football, it's the same. For me, it's an occasion on ever to put these measures that we take. This time we must punish, and punish severely.
And in addition to the issue of violence, there's also the problem of infrastructure and the supervision of the event by the security forces. And authorities in the country are now being held accountable of what happened.
Well, it is a mishap of the Senegalese Senegalese football. There is a lot of infrastructure that is lacking. Take an example of the Demba Stadium, which dates back to the 1960s. it took these incidents for people to actually talk about it. The government has spent their time injecting billions and billions just to repair the stadium, but as we see on Facebook, the imagery created on Facebook and social media, it is like that old lady to whom you pass a blow of makeup, or rather you brush a makeup to make her look young, and life goes on. That's where it led us. It is not enough to take the sanctions, but we rethink also Senegal's sports infrastructure policy. It is not only the Demba Diop Stadium, but the majority of stadiums in Senegal no longer meet international standards.
Voilà, à l'instant donc Wahani Johnson
Sambu.
Journaliste ici à la rédaction.
He is a journalist here at Africanews, talking to us about his take on the Senegalese incident that left several dead and others injured during a final match between two teams.
Je vous invite à présent à retrouver l'essentiel de ces sujets et bien d'autres sur nos pages.
You can find these stories and their updates
notre site internet africanews.com,
on our website at africanews.com.
Et WhatsApp.
You can also log on to Facebook or Twitter and use the handles Africanews and at AfricaNewsFR to talk to us. There is a number on your screen. You can also use it. We'll be back after this short break.